a crazy, fun, Thai takeout dinner feast week this has been. Work, post-party cleanup, family celebrations, birthday parties, and it's time to put up all the Yuletide decorations that jingle, jangle, and light up. Hello, everyone. Hello, all my friends. It's great to see you back. You know, I started to put away the last of my Hallmark digital Star Wars ornaments. And just as I was about to do it, I had to push the button one more time for Obi-Wan Kenobi to light up his lightsaber and talk to Luke Skywalker before I put him away till next year. And that put me in the perfect mood to review Disney Plus's new live-action Star Wars series, The Book of Boba Fett, Episode 2, The Tribes of Tatooine. So put down those boxes, put up your feet, grab your favorite drink, sit back, relax, and get ready to have some fun. Welcome, Slayer Nation. It is so great to have you back for another episode of George the Giant Slayer. It is one hell of a day on the front line of fun and freedom. You know, today, it's so exciting. I am living my dream. I'm getting to watch a Star Wars show, review it, and then share it with you. So beware, there are going to be plenty of spoilers ahead. Now, the Book of Boba Fett, Episode 2, The Tribes of Tatooine, what it does is it ups the ante from the subdued premiere of Episode 1. It turns up the heat on that desert planet that takes place a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Now, if you had to ask me right now, I can share with you that Tribes of Tatooine, written by Jon Favreau and directed by Steph Green, is my favorite episode. It's somewhere between a slice of homemade New York-style cheesecake and walking on a cool, crisp 68-degree crystal sky blue day. It is an amazing episode. So, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, like, share, leave your thoughts about the video in the comments down below, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can be informed when we release a new video. And if you're interested in having a chance at winning the PlayStation 5 or a Nintendo Switch, all you have to do is pay attention to the end of the video for more details. I'm going to be announcing the winners at 3,500 subscribers. Now, let's dive into the episode. The Tribes of Tatooine continues to build out the world of Boba's new home. We get a grand shot from another point of view this time of the mighty fortress palace of Jabba the Hutt. No, scratch that. We get a grand shot of the mighty fortress palace of the new daimyo, Lord Fett. And this time we see Fennec Shan with a chained assassin behind her. She's dragging him through the entrance, that same main entrance, that armored entrance that Luke Skywalker walked through in Return of the Jedi. Fennec and Fett, they interrogate the assassin, which they find out from the smelter droid is part of the quote-unquote legendary Order of the Night Wind. Now, this is hilarious. Ming-Na Wen's Fennec Shan is firing on all cylinders as she lands body blows with her sardonic barbs, mocking the hell out of the false fame that this legendary Order of Assassins claims. As soon as the purple-hooded chucklehead falls through the trapdoor into the Rancor pit, he spills the beans on his client, which, of course, surprise, surprise, we learn is the mayor of Mos Espa, Mok Shaiz. So, guess what? There's no Rancor. Probably everybody knows the Rancor's dead. But as soon as the gate opens, his eyes bug out, and what do we see but a tiny little Minnie Mouse? I really love that scene. But I did have a couple of questions about it. No major issues. But I was wondering, you have Boba Fett's taken over, but there's no life in the palace. I mean, he has his droids, the Gamorrean guards, Fennec's there, but where are his loyal men? Like, where's the action? Where is everybody? It started to give me this feeling that his mind and heart, they haven't coalesced around whatever his main objective is. If you have any thoughts on it, let me know in the comments. So, Fett and Fennec take a trip to the city of Mos Espa. They push their way through the mayor's office And after a small exchange of subtle threats and posturing, Moksha's men assassinate the assassin. He immediately attests to Fett that the Order of the Night Wind are illegal. They are barred from operating on the planet. Then he confirms to Fett that yes, he does work at the pleasure of the daimyo of Tatooine, so therefore he has absolutely zero motivation to take out the hit. Now here's a little cool tidbit. The mayor of Mos Espa, he was voiced actually by director Robert Rodriguez. Now, what he does is he tosses him the bounty, saying, yep, here's the money for a reward for bringing in the assassin. Of course, this is an insult to Fett because he's no longer a bounty hunter, as he tells him. Fett turns it around and says, thank you for the tribute. You know, the one you should have brought me when everybody else was paying me as the new lord of the land. Then in a power move, the mayor turns it around and says, no, that's not my tribute. My tribute are these sage words, which he says, family is much different to run than being a bounty hunter. Of course, Boba detests that. He turns back and cements his stance with a stoic silence. And really, right here, Boba should have listened to the mayor. Being a bounty hunter is in solitary kind of a life where he is accountable only to himself, his client, and the contract. His tools are his acumen and his weapons. Running a family, being a lord, being a daimyo, he has to manage a whole herd of Boba Fett's and Fennec Shans. His tools are transformed from pushing a button to closing a fist, one that determines life and death, not only for an individual, but for a people and for a land. Anyway, upon the advice of the mayor, Fett and Fennec, they take off to visit the sanctuary cantina, where upon entering, they discover that Garsa Wisp, played by Jennifer Beal, is sweating and wilting away. She informs them why everybody else is sweating bullets is because the Hutt twins have returned. They're cousins to Jabba the Hutt, and they have come to claim what they say is rightfully theirs, the throne of Tatooine. And just right there, like an apostrophe, the sounds of drums in the distance silence the entire cantina crowd. Boba tells Fennec to back him up, and he heads out following the echoes of the sound into the streets where he sees the Hutts being carried on their litter. So there's this exchange between Boba Fett and the criminal Hutts. They demand the desert planet. He, of course, refuses. Then out of nowhere comes this ebony pelted Wookiee. It's Black Chrysanthemum. He used to be a bounty hunter for Jabba the Hutt. He was so bad he was exiled from the Wookiee planet of Kashyyyk. He even once was contracted to track down Obi-Wan Kenobi. He literally is the evil Chewbacca. So when the exchanges are done, all that's left are steely-eyed stares and wormy smiles. Of course, the Fetts threaten Boba Fett. And what they do is they tell him, sleep lightly, kind of keep one eye open because we're coming after you. Now, no matter how much that Fennec and Fett want to take out the Hutts, they cannot kill them without permission from Nalhutta, all the leaders there. They just can't do it. But I have a sneaky suspicion that when Boba is back up to his full fighting form, he's going to take those two worms and turn them into slime. And now we change scenes. We go back to lounging in the Bacta tank, and we turn to some of the strongest elements of this episode, back into Boba's past right after the events of Return of the Jedi that set him on his present path. With a background of sand dunes, Tusken Raiders, and Banthas, we catch Boba Fett being trained by, I think, is a female Tusken Raider warrior. It looks like they're slowly bonding together. And now this is one of those typical genre television tropes. The training montages, they usually are flat. But this one, the way it was written by Favreau and directed by Green, it sticks, it's landing, it's well executed, well timed, and it doesn't make fun of Fett when he makes a mistake. It actually shows him picking it back up and retraining harder and harder and harder. But I started to get this sinking feeling in my gut. Well, not a premonition, but like a prediction where you're going to go, okay, what do you think could happen? And I was wondering, what do you think is going to transpire that's going to lead Boba Fett to execute Bib Fortuna eventually and then want to become daimyo of this entire new domain? I think either the teacher that he's bonding with or the child that he saved, they're either going to be executed, disrespected, or disregarded. Something dire is going to happen to lead to their demise. During his training, all of a sudden, we spot a hovering bullet train speeding right by and shooting at the Tusken tribe, taking out several of the raiders. Now, unbeknownst to us at the time, but we discovered a little bit later, inside the train are members of the Pike Syndicate. Now, the Pikes deal in spice. That's one of their most precious commodities. It's a synthetic, powerful, addictive drug. It comes from the spice mines of Kessel. And every time this train does this run, they murder more Tusken raiders. So seeing all of this slaughter and how to put an end to it, Boba Fett realizes that the only way to do this is to steal the Nikto Raiders' speeder bikes. He saw them slipping through the desert night, and he decided that's the way to stop this spice train in its tracks. So he borrows one of the Tusken rifles, takes his training gaffy stick, and he marches off to Tosche Station. Yes, it's that famous Tosche Station. Again, you've got Jon Favreau is digging into Star Wars deep lore, and he's spicing it all around the desert for all of us to enjoy. It's the same Tosche Station from Star Wars A New Hope, where a very, very young Luke Skywalker once whinged. You know, he's something about like,
but I was going into Tosche Station to pick up some power converters.
Well, this was a deeper scene which was left on a cutting room floor for a long, long time until it was released as a deleted scene. And I recommend you go watch it. It's really good.
Hey, come on, shape it up, you guys. Kids!
So he struts into this part power plant, part repair shop, part cantina in Tosche Station, and he makes quick work of the Nikto Raiders just like he's the Terminator in a bar.
I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
He takes them out like they're paper mache. He slams back a shot, and in the background, what do we see? We see two of young Luke Skywalker's teenage best friends, Cammy and Fixer, all grown up. So, in a scene right out of Marlon Brando's Wild One, Boba Fett steals the bikes and he brings them back to the camp. Now, the next few scenes, they're really a lot of fun. There's a lot of levity to them as Fett is explaining his plan to the Tuskens. He starts training them how to ride the mechanical beasts and ride the sand so they can end the smuggler's menace. So we skip to the day of the action and they ambush the Pike's train. Now, the train attack, the entire attack, is my favorite of the entire episode. Each minute is better than the last. And the cherry on top is Boba Fett's teacher. How she makes her way onto the train and inside the cabin, walking through like she's a great white shark. We see the Pike Syndicate, each member. We can see them from the rooftops, and they start disappearing one by one as they're swallowed out of sight. It was phenomenal. They crash the train, and Boba lays down the law to the Syndicate. He lets them know these ancestral lands are claimed by the Tuskens. If you want to run your spice, you're going to have to pay a toll to the tribe. He spares their life, but he did this, I think, small part out of civility, but the rest was to return their slight in kind, because they had explained that the only reason they were murdering these people is because they thought they were uncivilized. So he orders them take his proposal back to their syndicate bosses, follow the high sun, and by foot, by the end of the day, you'll make it to Anchorhead. Now, nighttime comes, the tribe gathers, they bring Boba Fett into the main tent where the chieftain starts sharing the story and history of the tribe. Now, this is critical. This was a missing piece from episode 1, and I'm glad they addressed it here. See, Disney They humanized too quickly the Tusken Raiders, and that created like a continuity clash and a clash of character. The chieftain explains that there are multiple tribes on Tatooine of Tusken Raiders. Some are brutal, murderous savages, and the others, they just want to simply live in peace and be at one with the land. See, that's important because the last time we saw Tusken Raiders in live action, we saw them brutalize and torture Shmi Skywalker, Anakin Skywalker's mother. And that was one of the first actions which led him onto the dark path when he sought his revenge. So this was key that Disney took this decision, and it was about time. So the chieftain, he turns around and he gives Boba Fett this lizard, which initiates a ritualistic vision quest. It takes him back to deal with the demons of his past, allowing him to reflect on who he was, who he is, and maybe possibly even giving him the opportunity to choose who he wishes to be. Confused and entranced, he walks into the desert night, flashing back throughout his childhood. He sees himself on Camino, looking out the corridors as his father, Jango Fett, is taking off in their ship, Slave One. Then all of a sudden, he sees this monstrously gargantuan tree. I mean, it had tree limbs like thighs. They were knotted and corded, and they trap him and bring him in. It's almost like this painful embrace, very similar to the way he was ensnared and engulfed in the belly of the Sarlacc beast. Well, he breaks one of the branches. It's like he breaks free of his vision, and he walks out of his dream into the camp, holding a tree limb. They dress him in traditional black garb. They take him to a master craftsman who guides him to pour himself into making a new powerful weapon. And you can almost see it as he's building this piece by piece with the master following everything that he's doing, that as he's putting each piece together, it's like he's taking a piece of himself apart and reattaching it. It's like he's realigning himself. And this becomes the same gaffy stick that we saw him take down multiple squads of stormtroopers in Mandalorian Season 2. It was a brilliant scene. Next, he comes into a circle of the tribesmen. In the center is a campfire. He stands on one side with his gaffy stick and his teachers on the other. They start mirroring each other in this kind of traditional dance. It's like a yin and yang. All of a sudden, the entire clan joins in this haka as they begin the initiation of Boba Fett into their tribe. This closing scene was exceptional. It was extraordinary in its simple beauty about the ferocity of unity. I was amazed by it because it was a powerful scene because Boba Fett has been alone for years. He's had allies, he's had enemies, but he hasn't had a family since his father. But now, alone no more, he's part of a pack. Beautiful. And that's where the episode ended. So what do I think of it? Well, let's put it this way. Episode 1, Stranger in a Strange Land, it divided the fandom. You had some who had outright dismay at the Disney Star Wars series, which I don't blame them. Then the other half were just completely apathetic. They just didn't care. So you have despair, and I don't really care about it. Well, episode 2, The Tribes of Tatooine, it takes you by the hand, brings you into the circle, and makes you a member of the tribe. And it takes you on this high-octane journey throughout Boba Fett's history and the rich lore of the Tusken tribe. I really enjoyed it. And that was the strength of the episode. Its weakness was in the present-day Boba Fett, the organized crime, the seedy underworld belly. I mean, I explained in my episode 1 review that I like the bones of the story. Well, in this one, I expected them to add more meat to the bones. They didn't add any meat. What they did was they added kind of like a rough nervous system to it. We got to learn about a new choreographed killer, and we saw the Hutts. Good. Not enough. We didn't see enough of Fennec Shan. And there's something that we're missing. In episode 3, they need to do two things. They need to do the exact inverse. Where we spent 90% of our time in the past, they need to spend 90% of the time in the present dealing with the organized crime element. And we need to see the hook. What is the hook of the show? In Mandalorian Season 1, Episode 1, by the end of the episode, Baby Yoda, Grogu, was the hook. It's grabbed everyone right in. So far, we're 2 episodes in, and there's no hook. All we know is he wants to be daimyo. For what reason? Something happened in the past. Okay, we get it. What is it you need to know by episode 3? So what do I think of the show overall? I loved it. It's beautiful, mystical. It's an action-packed 1-2 punch of adrenaline and reflective calm right before the storm.
I like these calm little moments before the storm.
Now, you know what time it is. Smash that like button, subscribe, share with your family, friends, and coworkers, and leave your thoughts about the video in the comments down below. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can be informed anytime we release a new video. And remember, never bow down, never bend the knee. Firmly, defiant, step up, stand tall, and get busy living your best life now. Always forward. He starts training him how to ride the mechanical sand creations. Oh, shit. I can't believe I fucked it up. If you want a chance at winning either a PlayStation 5 or a Nintendo Switch, all you have to do is hit the subscribe button and leave a comment down below. We use a random picker which will choose the video in the comment. It's genuinely random. So the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. You only have to comment once, but you can increase your chances by commenting once per video. More than that, and it really won't impact the tally from the random picker. So, if you love being a part of Slayer Nation, then I'll continue the giveaways as we battle all the way to the top of the mountain.